कमल बारे नाकाम अद्भुत सिंह बलिदान रण्य कश्यपो तानो भृंग केशव देश नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश रे जय जगदीश रे जय जगदीश रे जय नरसिंह दे जय नरसिंह दे नरसिंह दे जय नरसिंह दे जय नरसिंह दे नरसिंह दे नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद जय जय प्रभुवा 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 जय जय प्रभुपा जय जय प्रभु प्रभुपा प्रभुपा जय जय प्रभुपा जय श्री श्री नरसिंह भगवान की जय भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की जय।
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. We would like to take the opportunity on behalf of the management here to welcome each and every one of you. This is our third day of our 4 days festivity for Janmashtami and also Srila Prabhupada's Mahavyasa Puja. So this evening as we welcome you here, we want to thank everyone who have been coming over the past few days and who have been assisting and serving in the various departments. So this evening we have with us one very special guest. It's no other than His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj. Hari Bol! So I'd like to formally introduce, to first of all welcome Maharaj to ISKCON Guyana and also to formally introduce him before we hear from Maharaj. His Holiness Jayadvaita served as a director of Srila Prabhupada's publishing house, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. From 1991 through most of 1998, Maharaj has served as editor-in-chief of the Bhakta Godhead magazine, for which he had been an assistant editor for several years. From 2008 till 2018, he served as a director of the Bhaktivedanta Archives, the official repository for historical records from Srila Prabhupada's life and work. He has served as a senior editor of a 3-volume translation and commentary for Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, a 16th century Sanskrit philosophical and devotional work by Srila Sanatana Goswami and by the same author, Sri Krishna Lila Stava. He also served as a senior editor for Srila Jiva Goswami's Tattva Sandarbha. Maharaj is the author of books such as you can see on display here, Vanati Karma, the Bhagavad Gita and the Meaning of Life. He is also a winner of a Benjamin Franklin Gold Award from the Independent Book Publishers Association. Apart from his services in publishing, Maharaj travels widely teaching about the philosophy and culture of Krishna consciousness. And finally, Maharaj has visited a number of countries across the 7 continents of this planet. So we are most happy and joyous to have the presence, have the association of His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj. Let us all welcome Maharaj by loudly chanting as Maharaj goes to the asana. Let us all welcome him loudly 3 times. Hari! So we can all chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada
Jai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada
Jai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada,
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj ki jai. Prabhupada Jaya,
Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Hello. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki, Their Lordship Shri Shri Paramakarna Nitai Gaura Chandra ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hare. So once again we want to welcome each and every one of you here for third session of Sri Krishna Janamastami celebration 2023 and Srila Prabhupada's Mahavyasa Puja. And generally, we all know, many of us who have been coming and participating year after year, when we all invest so much energy and fasting and kirtan and cooking and distributing and all that for Sri Krishna Janamastami, and we go on till 12 midnight or in some cases, maybe the pujaris and some organizers go to bed maybe 2, 3 in the morning. Then next day for Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja, everybody kind of hang over And we could have never really give Srila Prabhupada the Vyasa Puja celebration that he really and truly deserved. So 2021, when we celebrated Srila Prabhupada 125th anniversary, many of you could remember that it was pandemic, but still, and all the program was online, was on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. But then we learned that we can actually give much more days in celebrating Janamastami and Vyasa Puja. And likewise, this year we designed 4 days. We decided Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that at least 2 to 3 days celebration will be dedicated to the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, consciously knowing that without Srila Prabhupada's benediction and mercy and blessings, or without Srila Prabhupada intervening in our lives, none of us probably would have known one another, what to speak of being here. And what to speak of even getting the amazing association of His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj here, who have been almost the entire lifespan of the ISKCON movement with Srila Prabhupada and very closely associated with Srila Prabhupada from since the beginning days. So because Maharaj continues traveling and preaching and his thank you, Maharaj.
Just tell them what's going to happen. Tell them I have laryngitis, I'm not going to be speaking.
Yes. So because Maharaj have a little throat issues, Maharaj will be typing and Hari Kirtan, hopefully you will come on the screen, I don't know, but Hari Kirtan will be narrating or reading while Maharaj will be typing. So it's a little different forum here that we are learning that no matter what, the message will go out. So Maharaj will type his message, his lecture, glorification, and as we said, Prabhupada Katha, and Hari Kirtan will assist in reading what Maharaj will be saying to all of us. So over to His Holiness, Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj. Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. First, my apologies. I have laryngitis and the doctors have told me to rest my voice for a month. What to do? So I'll type and Hari Kirtan Rasa. Hari Kirtan Rasa.
Hare Krishna.
Rasa. So I'll type and Hari Kirtan Rasa will speak. I'm usually a pretty fast typist. That's very true. But anyway, we'll do our best. Thinking takes a little longer than typing. One of the things that most impressed me about Srila Prabhupada was his authentic authenticity. Let me read that again. One of the things that most impressed me about Srila Prabhupada was his authenticity. He knew what he was about, what he was doing, and he stuck to it. No compromise. And what he was saying was powerful and profound. Once, when Srila Prabhupada came to New York, he mentioned that the local newspaper in Hawaii the Honolulu Advertiser So I'll read that again. Once, when Srila Prabhupada came to New York, he mentioned that the local newspaper in Hawaii, that is the Honolulu Advertiser, had said, quote, "The Swami is a small man, but he has a big message," unquote. Srila Prabhupada liked that. He presented Krishna's message as it is and wouldn't water it down. As he has written in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he gave no credit to yogis, philanthropists, politicians, you name it. One time in Boston, Srila Prabhupada spoke at MIT. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Like IIT in India. And he said, "You have so many departments of knowledge, but where is that department to study the difference between a living body and a body? But where is that department to study the difference between a living body and a dead body?" That was missing. There was no quote, "the department to study the spirit soul," unquote. At one speaking engagement in Boston, it's a city with many colleges and universities, Srila Prabhupada spoke, and outside the hall, in the lobby, we had our tables set up, showing books and so on. I was at one of the tables. And suddenly, a big ripple went through the lobby. The lobby was crowded with people. And a big ripple. What had happened? I found out later. Srila Prabhupada had been walking out of the hall with one Indian professor, and the man was going on and on about how, quote, everything is one. Srila Prabhupada was answering him, but the man was going on and on. So finally, Srila Prabhupada took hold of his shirt. And said, so finally Srila Prabhupada took hold of his shirt and said, quote, if everything is one, why don't you wear a cotton ball instead of a shirt? Cotton ball means the raw cotton. So that was Srila Prabhupada, strong. The Mayavad philosophy is always going on. Everything is one. Of course, these days, there's not much philosophy. These days, there's not much philosophy to it. Back in the old days, we had Advaitavadis like Shankaracharya and his followers. Who were actually philosophers and who followed strict spiritual discipline. These days, we mostly have nonsense rascals who don't follow anything but just speak. These days, we mostly have nonsense rascals who don't follow anything but just speak vague ideas about how everything is one. They are fools, Srila Prabhupada said, and those who follow them are also fools. So we are so fortunate to have come into contact with Srila Prabhupada, who taught Bhagavad Gita as it is. I'll tell you a story from Delhi. We used to have Mayapur Vaishnava festival every year for Gaur Purnima. A couple of weeks We used to have Mayapur Vrindavan festival every year for Gaur Purnima. A couple of weeks in Mayapur and a couple of weeks in Vrindavan. And devotees would come from all over the world. And one year, during the Vrindavan portion, or maybe just after, Srila Prabhupada did a Pandal program in New Delhi. For a series of nights. And maybe you know the system. For these programs, there would be the main speaker, Srila Prabhupada, and there would also be a chief guest. The chief guest would be some noted person like a scientist or political leader or author or what have you. So one night, the chief guest was a distinguished judge. The judge was seated on the stage, and Srila Prabhupada also. And we disciples were also seated around Srila Prabhupada on the stage. The program was in the evening. But summer was coming on, and even in the evening, the weather was getting hot. So the chief guest was speaking to the audience. But on the stage, we had a big industrial fan. Back in those days, An Indian industrial fan was a noise machine. Clack, 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 clack. So the chief guest was speaking, but the fan made it hard to hear him. So Srila Prabhupada just glanced over towards the fan. And I was sitting just next to the fan, and I could understand the meaning of Srila Prabhupada's glance. So I pressed the switch and turned off the fan. And now the chief guest could be heard. And he was speaking all Mayavad. Everything is one. Everything is one. Krishna is God. There are so many gods. All rubbish as usual. So Srila Prabhupada very subtly looked towards the fan again. The pure devotee of Krishna has to be seen from the spiritual platform. The Shastra says, Acharya mam vijaniyam naiva manyeta karhichit. Namaritya buddhisu yeta Sarvadeva Mayo Guru. Krishna says, one should know that the Acharya is my very self. One should never think of him otherwise. One should never think of him as an ordinary human being. All the devatas are included in the person of the bona fide spiritual master. The spiritual master represents Krishna, and therefore he is given all the respect deserved by Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not that he is God, but that he is the most confidential servant of God. So one year in Mayapur, I asked Srila Prabhupada a question. He was on his morning walk before the class. And the various governing body commission men and sannyasis were walking with him. I was just a brahmachari at the time, but a little senior. So I got to be on the walk as well. And in the course of the walk, I asked Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, sometimes from the material point of view, we see that the spiritual master makes mistakes. Srila Prabhupada answered, that is material point of view. So I pushed the question a little further. Well, sometimes, even in spiritual things, we see some mistake. The spiritual master may seem to forget a verse and quote a verse wrongly. I'll read that again. Well, sometimes, even in spiritual things, we see some mistake. The spiritual master may seem to forget a verse or quote a verse wrongly. Now that was pushing things, because we had all heard Srila Prabhupada quote a verse in his own way. Or forget a verse and ask, what is that verse? So Srila Prabhupada answered again, that is the material point of view. Then Srila Prabhupada explained, the spiritual master is not a magician. We have to see the spiritual master not from the external material point of view. We have to see how he is preaching the message of Krishna. Bhakti Samsanat. Acharya Bhakti Samsanat. We have to see how the spiritual master is representing the message of Krishna. We have to see how the spiritual master is representing the message of Krishna, preaching Krishna consciousness. That answered the question. But later, after the walk, my godbrothers jumped all over me. That was so offensive. How could you ask Srila Prabhupada that type of question? And so on. So after the class, I went up to Srila Prabhupada's room. Srila Prabhupada was there, so I offered obeisances. Then I asked, Srila Prabhupada, that question this morning, was that offensive? Srila Prabhupada replied, not offensive. Just ignorant. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At another engagement in Boston, the devotees arranged to hold a program at a big hall at Boston University. It turned out to be exam time, so hardly anyone came. But Srila Prabhupada spoke anyway. At the end of the class, one intelligent sounding person, he seemed a little conversant with philosophy, asked the question. He was asking about Advaita philosophy, the philosophy of non-dualism. He gave the familiar example of the drop of water that merges with the ocean. The idea is that the spiritual practitioner finally merges into God and becomes one with God. So Srila Prabhupada answered that this was all right, but the drop will eventually be evaporated. Then it will no longer be in the ocean. So Srila Prabhupada said, it's better to become an aquatic in the ocean. Then you can stay in the ocean and enjoy forever. At another engagement, at Temple University in Philadelphia, there were a number of students of a Mayavadi sannyasi. It seemed that this Mayavadi sannyasi was teaching a course. It seemed that this Mayavadi sannyasi was teaching a course and speaking about Advaita philosophy. So several his students would also attended Srila Prabhupada's lecture. And one asked a question about Advaita philosophy. So Srila Prabhupada asked him, so what is the meaning of this word, Advaita? And the student didn't know. So Srila Prabhupada later remarked, sorry. So pardon, it's not Advaita philosophy, it's Vedanta philosophy. So Srila Prabhupada asked him, so what is the meaning of this word, Vedanta? And the student didn't know. Later, Srila Prabhupada remarked, they are talking about Vedanta philosophy, but they don't even know the meaning of the word Vedanta. So Srila Prabhupada explained. He quoted Bhagavad Gita, Vedeshcha sarver ahameva vedya. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. I'm not saying anything, but still I'm thirsty. So again, Srila Prabhupada explained, he quoted Bhagavad Gita, Vedeshcha sarver ahameva vedya. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. So, Veda means knowledge, and Anta means the last word or the conclusion. So the last word is Vedic knowledge is to understand Krishna. So the last word in Vedic knowledge is to understand Krishna. Simple. But all those cheaters and bluffers avoid Krishna and say something else. Another time, I was in New York. We had moved up the street from 26 2nd Avenue and were now at our second temple at 61 2nd Avenue. But Srila Prabhupada was in New York at that time and still staying at his old apartment in 26 2nd Avenue. So, one day an elderly gentleman came to the temple. He had a letter from Srila Prabhupada saying, when I come to New York, you're welcome to come with me. to come meet with me. So Brahmananda Prabhu, the temple president, sent me with the man to Srila Prabhupada's apartment to meet with Srila Prabhupada. The man was very respectful to Srila Prabhupada. He was associating with what we call the uptown Swamis. Who were all talking about Vedanta. He said to Srila Prabhupada, I like your movement very much, but one thing I don't understand. But your disciples have said that you said that Swami such and such was a rascal. And he mentioned a big famous Swami from Bengal. And the man said, and it seems to me that he is a very holy man, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why you would say he's a rascal. And Srila Prabhupada said, who has said this? And the man said, you didn't say it? If they have said that I have said, and I have not said, then he is a rascal. So now the man was all smoothed out, satisfied. Then Srila Prabhupada picked up a book from his shelf, a blue hardbound book. And he showed it to the man and said, you know this book? And the man looked at it and said, "Oh, Dr. Such and Such, Vedanta Society." It was Dr. Such and Such's edition of Bhagavad Gita. So Srila Prabhupada opened the book to a certain verse and had him read it. Manmana bhavamad bhakta. So the man read it. Quote, "Think of me, devote yourself to me, offer sacrifice to me, and homage to me." Srila Prabhupada said, "Yes, very nice. He is a very good scholar." Now the commentary. Read. What does he say? The man began, "It is not Krishna that one should surrender, but the unborn beginningless something or the other within Krishna." So Srila Prabhupada said, "Just as I said, they are all rascals." So I'll read it back just so you get the flow. Because of the noise. So Srila Prabhupada opened the book to a certain verse and had the man read it. Manmana bhavamad bhakta. So the man read it. "Think of me, devote yourself to me, offer sacrifice to me, and homage to me." Srila Prabhupada said, "Yes, very nice. He's a very good scholar." Now the commentary. Read. What does he say? The man began. Quote, "It is not to Krishna that one should surrender, but the unborn, beginningless something or the other within Krishna." So Srila Prabhupada said, "Just as I said, they are all rascals. Krishna says me and they say not Krishna. Just see." Then Srila Prabhupada quoted another verse. "Namam dushkritina mudha prapadyante naradhama." And he explained each word. Mudha, asses. Naradama, lowest among men. Mayaya apahrita jnana. Whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. Then Srila Prabhupada concluded, "It is not my saying, it is Krishna's saying. What can I do?" Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, thank you very much. It's quite amazing that you can actually do this. I don't know I don't know what would have been our position if we had to, our throat is
Not dead yet.
functioning. So it's like, thank you. Let us all give Maharaj a huge round of applause. Haribo, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada Mahavyasa Puja ki. Hare Krishna. So I don't know, Maharaj, you can at least take one question. So if there is any one question that somebody wants to go quickly, because we have a drama come on just now, the Jayadvaita drama, Srila Prabhupada Journey to New York. Anyone? Okay, thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'd like to ask someone to do a bhajan. In the meantime, we're getting reorganized for the drama. At least we can probably do Krishna Tava Punyahavi.
While you're setting up, I'll advertise.
Maharaj have something else to say to us. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
While the players are setting up, this is the cover of a new book that should be coming out in 2 months, Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan Standards. Kirtan is the essence of our movement. So I've collected many instructions from Srila Prabhupada about Kirtan and how we should do Kirtan, and also how we should not do Kirtan. So I hope the book will be helpful in highlighting the guidance Srila Prabhupada gave us. End of advertisement.
Hare Krishna. So this bhajan is entitled Prayer unto the Lotus Feet of Krishna by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada on board the ship Jayadvaita, September 13, 1965. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna tava punya have vai. Krishna tava punya have vai. E punya koribe jabe Radha Rani kushi habe. Druvati bole to matai. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Sachi Sutta Priyati Krishna Sevai Jara Tulanai. Se Mohanta Guru Jagate Madhe Uru Krishna Bhakti Detai Tai. Tarai Chabalavan Paschate Te Tatan Hoy Jate Gorange Nam Prithvite Nagara Diya Samudra Nada Nadi Sakale Loy Krishna Nam. Krishna Tava Punya Have vai. Krishna tava punya have vai. E punya karibe jabe Radha Rani kushi have. Druvati boli to matai. Tahale ananda hoy tabe hoy digvajay Chaitanya kripatisha. Maya dust jata dukhi jagate sabai sukhi Vaishnaveri cha puna hoy. Sekra jaje karibare agna jadi dilo more jogya nahi ati din nahi. तैसे तुम्हारा कृपा जीते छी अनुरूपा अजी तुम्ही सवा प्राणी. कृष्ण तवा पुण्य हवे बाय. कृष्ण तवा पुण्य हवे बाय. हे पुण्य करिबे जबे राधा रानी खुशी हवे. ध्रुवाती बोले तो माता. तुम्हारा से शक्ति पेले गुरु से बच्चू मिले जीवन शतक जरी हो. से सेवा पले ताहले सुखी हाले तब संग भाग्यत मिलो. एवं जन्म नित्यतम प्रभावी कुपे खमा विखमम अनुया प्रप्तनन प्रसंगत कृतवत्मसत सुरंसना भगवान गृहीता सोहम कृतम नु वृष्जे तवा भृत्या सेवम. तुम्ही मोर चिरा सती भूलिया मायलथी कयाचित जन्म जन्मंत्रे. अचि पुनः सुजोग जदि हाय जग जोग तबे परे तुहे मिली बारे. तबे परे तुहे मिलवरे. कृष्ण तवा पुण्य हवे बाय. कृष्ण तवा पुण्य हवे बाय. हे पुण्य करे पे जबे राधा रानी खुशी हवे. ध्रुवाथी बोले तो माता. तुम्हारा मिलने बाय आबर से सुख पाए गोचारने गुरे दिन बो. कत बने चुता चुती बने कैलुता फूती से दिन कबे हवे मोर. अचि से सुबिना ने तुम्हारा स्मरण बेलो বড় আশা ডাকিলাম তাই, আমি তোমার নিত্য দাস, তাই করি এ দাস, তুমি বিনা ন্যাগতি নাই, তুমি বিনা ন্যাগতি নাই। কৃষ্ণ তব পুণ্য হবে বাই, কৃষ্ণ তব পুণ্য হবে বাই, এ পুণ্য করিবে যাবে রাধা রানী খুশি হবে, ধ্রুবাতি বলে তোমার। কৃষ্ণ তব পুণ্য হবে বাই, কৃষ্ণ তব পুণ্য হবে বাই, কৃষ্ণ তব পুণ্য হবে বাই।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. So at this point in time, we'll hand over to the devotees who are going to give us a little glimpse of Jayadvaita Srila Prabhupada, 1965, after preparing himself, leave to the west. And as we said that just a week and a half ago would have been the day that Srila Prabhupada departed India, coming on board Jayadvaita to New York City. So let us welcome the devotees who will be performing the drama this evening for us. Hari Bol! Put your hands together. Hare Krishna! Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
So if you'll excuse us for just a few minutes while we get set, while all the actors. I know we already had some time, but please bear with us.
Hare Krishna. So in the meantime, they're putting the final pieces together. I'll just like to make a few announcements. So tomorrow morning, session will continue, our final of 4 days celebration, Sri Krishna Janamastami, Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja. His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj will be here with us again tomorrow morning to continue discourses on Srila Prabhupada, especially the beginning days. Maharaj, as you heard, would have worked on translating, assist in editing and translating with Srila Prabhupada. So it will be interesting to hear some of those beginning days, how Srila Prabhupada was, translating all these books. Like you see next to the Vyasa at the back there, you'll see a full set of Srila Prabhupada books, almost full sets of Srila Prabhupada books. So how Srila Prabhupada, within such a short time, would have put these books together. You will hear a little on that. And of course, we will be doing some highlights on Srila Prabhupada live. So a few videos will be shown. And then Artik Prasadam. And then tomorrow afternoon, at our Sri Sri Gaurnitai Ashirvad Mandir over West Coast, Crane, Old Road, West Coast, Demerara, the devotees there are celebrating 38th installation anniversary of their Lordship, Sri Sri Nitai Chaitanya Chandra. So we all will be going over there along with Maharaj for that celebration. And then Maharaj will be here until Friday morning. Maharaj, so I'll announce tomorrow a little bit more some of Maharaj's programs and Katha while he will be here with us. It's the first time that His Holiness are visiting here in Guyana, so I'll humbly request that we all take full advantage of his association. Hare Krishna.
Krishna tadiya padapam kajapanyarantam Adhaiva visatume manasa rajahansa Prana prana samaye kapavāto pitru Kantavarodhana vidho smaranam kutaste Krishna tadija padapam kajapanjanantam Adhaiva visatume manasa rajahansam Prana prana samai kapavāta vitau Kantavarodhana vidho smaranam kutaste
Tonight's drama is about the transcendental pastimes of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Friday the 13th is generally considered inauspicious, but Friday the 13th of August 1965 was a most auspicious day. It represented a turning point in the lives of this world's misdirected civilization. It was the day A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami left the shores of India to bring the ancient science of Krishna consciousness to the West. After a lifetime of preparation, Bhaktivedanta Swami was ready to carry out the order of his spiritual master to fulfill the prophecy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Pritivite ache jato nagaradigram sarvatra prachar hoibe moranam. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna would soon be heard in every town and village in the world. This is the story of Srila Prabhupada's amazing journey to America. It is the story of how he defied all odds to achieve the unachievable. It is the story of Swamiji at sea.
I was attacked by heart attack while on the sea twice. The pain was so severe, I thought I was dying.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder.
Excuse me, sir. Could I interest you in a look at one of our books? Are you from India? I'm from America. So how have you taken up this Vedic culture of India? This dancing and chanting? This ancient culture was brought to America by our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. In fact, this book is all about him. Let me see that volume. Is this? Yes, it is. It's the Swami Bhaktivedanta.
You know my boy. He traveled aboard my ship, the Jaladuta. Yes, yes. It was in 1965, August and September. Let me see. The Jaladuta is a regular cargo ship of the India Steam Navigation Company. That was my company. Sri Abhaycharan Bhaktivedanta Swami, whose age was listed as 69, was taken on board bearing a complimentary ticket with food. It says here. The cabin was quite comfortable, thanks to Srimati Sumati Murarji for all these arrangements.
He approached Srimati Morarji to get a ticket.
Yes, I remember it all as it was only yesterday.
Swamiji, please come in.
My dear lady, I wish to go to America to preach the message of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Please grant me a free passage on one of your ships.
Swamiji, you're too old. Why are you taking such responsibility?
No, it is all right. It is my Guru Maharaj order. I have a sponsor in Pennsylvania, and I have dedicated my life to this purpose. So I'm determined to go.
But you don't know anything about America. It is very different from India.
But Americans are world leaders. If they can take to Krishna consciousness, it will be spread all over the world.
Nevertheless, I think you should stay in Vrindavan. I think it's wise that you do not go to that sinful place.
But it is my life's mission, and I'm confident Lord Krishna will protect me. Wherever there is chanting of Krishna's holy name, there is Vrindavan. Please let me go.
Well, all right, Swamiji. But I'll give you a round-trip ticket, so you may return should there be any difficulty.
Hare Krishna.
Bhaktivedanta Swami arrived in Calcutta only a few days before the Jaladuta's departure. Although he had lived much of his life in this city, he now had nowhere to stay. It was as he had written in his Vrindavan bhajan, "I have my wife, sons, daughters, grandsons, everything, but I have no money, so they are a fruitless glory." Although in this city he had been so carefully nurtured as a child, those early days were also gone forever. Where have my loving father and mother gone now? Where are all my elders, who were my own folk? Who will give me the news of them? Tell me who. All that is left of this family is a list of names. The day before his departure, Bhaktivedanta Swami traveled to nearby Mayapur to visit the samadhi of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
You have ordered me to preach in the West, and now after many years I'm going. please give me your blessings and pray to Krishna to protect me.
A local Bengali daily newspaper reported, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami, a resident of Vrindavan, has translated the Srimad Bhagavatam into English with word-for-word meanings and purports. This great work will soon be appreciated by people from far-off America. Hence, he is departing from Calcutta for New York this Friday, the 13th day of August, 1965. Bhaktivedanta Swami took a taxi down to the Calcutta port. He was carrying a Bengali copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which he intended to read during the crossing. For thousands of years, Krishna Bhakti had been only known in India, not outside, except in twisted, faithless reports by foreigners. And the only Swamis to have reached America had not been devotees or Mayavadi impersonalists. But now, Krishna was sending Bhaktivedanta Swami as his emissary. He was alone, a lone fighter. When he left, there was no one on the shore to bid him goodbye. No friends, no supporter, no disciple, nobody. After some time, Prabhupada reported in his diary that his strength renewed little by little. Today the ship is plying very smoothly. I feel today better, but I am feeling separation from Sri Vrindavan and my lords Sri Govinda, Gopinath, Radha Damodar. My only solace is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, in which I am tasting the nectarine of Lord Chaitanya's Leela. I have left Bharat Bhumi just to execute the order of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati in
Yes, I remember this wonderful person walking onto my ship. He caught a strike. Yes, I remember this wonderful person walking onto my ship. He caught a striking figure. This Swami, do you remember him, Devi?
Yes, indeed. How can I forget? He seemed to have super strength. I said to him, "Do you really think America is the best place to go, Swamiji?" I was thinking that America hardly seemed ready for his message. It seemed such a difficult task for someone his age.
Yet, he seemed so totally calm and serene, as if his work was already done.
And do you remember, after some difficult travel, we celebrated Janmashtami with him? Do you remember? He spoke so nicely about Lord Krishna. He really understood the importance and significance of observing Janmashtami, and he chanted so sweetly.
Yes. And what about the feast?
Yes, he cooked an entire feast all by himself and personally distributed it to the entire crew. We enjoyed having Swami with us so much.
What did he cook, Devi? Do you remember?
Oh, let me see. There was yellow rice, samosa, puri, sabji, So many sweets. Everything was there.
It was so nice, but the sea was taking its toll, I think. It was soon after that it seemed disaster was about to strike.
Yes, and he was getting seasick, I think. I was concerned for him also.
Look, it says here in the book. He noted in his diary rain, seasickness, dizziness, headache, no appetite, vomiting.
This was the most difficult time for him, I think. We didn't see him for 3 days. Does it say what happened?
Yes, yes. Let me read it.
The symptoms persisted, but it was more than seasickness. The pains in his chest made him think that he would die at any moment. In 2 days, he suffered 2 heart attacks. He tolerated the difficulty, meditating on the purpose of his mission, but he thought that if another were to come, he would certainly not survive. The next night, Swamiji had a dream. Lord Krishna appeared to him, surrounded by his many incarnations. Krishna was rowing a boat and spoke to Swami.
My dear Abhecharan, go on with your mission. I will protect you. Do not fear.
Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Sati Sutta Priyati Krishna se bhaya jara tulena se Mohanta Guru Jagate Amadeuru Krishna Bhakti De Taitai Tada Icha Balavan Pashyate Tantan Vejate Gorangirana Pritiviti Nagaradi Asamudra Nadanadi Sakale Loe Krishnana Dahale Ananda Hoy Tabe Hoy Dikvijay Chaitanya Kripati Sahai Maya duste jata duki, jagate sabai suki, Vaishnaveri chapunoy. Krishna tava punya bebai, Krishna tava punya bebai. Hey punya koribe jabe, radharani kushe habe. Druvate bole tamata Krishna tava punya beba Krishna tava punya beba Sekar je kore pare ajajadi tilo more joginahi ate dinahina Tai se tumara kripa magate chi anurupa ajitu me shama pavina Tomara she shakti peli Guru se bhaya vashti mili Jivanar sarthak
Jare Se seba paile Tahale suki hale Tabasanga bhagyate milay.
After some time, Prabhupada reported in his diary that his strength renewed little by little. Today the ship is plying very smoothly. I feel today better, but I am feeling separation from Sri Vrindavan and my lords Sri Govinda, Gopinath, Radha Damodar. My only solace is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, in which I am tasting the nectarine of Lord Chaitanya's Leela. I have left Bharat Bhumi just to execute the order of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati in pursuance of Lord Chaitanya's order. I have no qualification, but I have taken up the risk just to carry out the order of His Divine Grace. I depend fully on their mercy, so far away from Vrindavan.
It was such a crisis, Devi. Do you remember you foretold of the Swamiji's future success? He seemed to take your words seriously. He said, "You are an intelligent and learned lady."
Yes, I told him that if he should pass beyond this crisis, it would indicate the goodwill of Lord Krishna.
Oh, look at this! How very nice! Let me read the final poem he wrote just as he was.
I depend fully on their
It was such a crisis, Devi. Do you remember you foretold of the Swamiji's future success? He seemed to take your words seriously. He said, "You are an intelligent and learned lady."
Yes, I told him that if he should pass beyond this crisis, it would indicate the goodwill of Lord Krishna.
Oh, look at this! How very nice! Let me read the final poem he wrote just as he was about to disembark. It is the Markini Bhagavata Dharma. My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now, you can do whatever you like with me. But I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place? Most of the population here is covered by the material modes of ignorance and passion, absorbed in material life. They think themselves very happy and satisfied, and therefore they have no taste for the transcendental message of Vasudeva. I do not know how they will be able to understand it. But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible, because you are the most expert mystic. O Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance, O Lord, make me dance as you like. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhaktivedanta, and now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhaktivedanta. Signed, the most unfortunate, insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, on board the ship Jayadvaita, Commonwealth Pier, Boston, Massachusetts, USA, dated 18th of September 1965.
Nachao Prabhu, Nachao se mate. Bhakti Vedantanam Ebe Sartha Karo. Bhakti Vedantanam Ebe Sartha Karo.
Thank you, Captain. Oh, and please tell us of what happened to Swamiji after he arrived. Well, since his arrival, the Swamiji, who is now known as His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, made Hare Krishna a household name. He traveled all over the world for 12 years, initiating many disciples. Those disciples in turn served him nicely and helped with the publishing and distribution of over 60 volumes of devotional literature he wrote. Srila Prabhupada opened 108 temples around the globe and also founded farming communities to teach simple living and high-thinking examples. But now, since the departure of Jayadvaita on Kolkata dock, Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON can report there are 602 ISKCON temples worldwide, 65 farms or eco-villages, 54 educational institutes, 110 vegetarian Hare Krishna restaurants worldwide, 75,000 devotees in ISKCON have received initiation, 7 million worshippers attend an ISKCON center annually, 3,600 home study or worship groups meet regularly worldwide. 516 million books have been distributed worldwide. 3 billion plates of sanctified vegetarian meals or prasadam have been served worldwide. 1.2 million plates of sanctified vegetarian meals are now served daily to Indian children as part of the midday meal by ISKCON Food for Life Foundation. 1,000 Harinam chanting parties go chanting on the streets worldwide every week. 6,000 Vaishnava festivals held every year globally in ISKCON centers. 150 Padayatra teams, totaling 10,000 participants, have walked 260,000 kilometers worldwide, visiting 52,000 towns and villages in 107 countries since 1976. Oh, so wonderful! It sounds like a true spiritual revolution. Oh yes, and look, here comes the Sankirtan party. Would you please like to come join in? Yes, we would love to.
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Put your hands together. Haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Srila Prabhupada Jayadvaita Journey ki jai. Hare Krishna. So put your hands together for all the actors. I don't know, maybe Hari Kirtan can probably tell you a little about what went on behind the scene.
Hare Krishna. So we'll introduce you to the actors. As Matsya, we have Mahindra Bhakta Mahindra. A round of applause, please. As Varaha, we had Damodar Krishna Prabhu. Please, you can take the mask off so we can see your face. Damodar Prabhu, please take the mask off. Thank you very much. Haribo. As Kurma, we had Bhakta Keshav. Haribo. As Matsya, we have our very own Mayapur Chandrodaya Das. Haribo. Sorry, as Nashringadev, sorry. As the book distributor, we have Sachisuta Prabhu. As Vamana Avatar, we have Little Trivikram. And it's ironic that his name is Trivikram and he's acting as Vamana. As the captain of the ship, Jaladuta, we have His Grace Jayagora Prabhu. And his wife being Satvika Mataji. We have as Krishna, Bhaktin Sandhya. As Srimati Radharani, Bhaktin Vashni. As Parshuram, we have Bhakta Chedi. As Lord Balaram, we have Bhakta Nimai. As Buddha, we had Bhakta Sham Sundar. And as Kalki, we have Bhaktin Trisha. And lastly, as Sumati Murarji, we had Mother Vishaka. And lastly, as His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, serving in this drama, His Grace Sanjaya Prabhu. And I acted as Lord Ramachandra. Behind the scenes, directing, we had Bhaktin Pratisha. She kind of inspired the entire drama. And if it weren't for everyone here, along with her pushing, then this drama would not have been possible. Although we did have a few hiccups, we apologize sincerely. And we hope that you can please forgive our mistakes and accept our presentation. And hopefully, if you are pleased, and if Maharaj is pleased, then hopefully Srila Prabhupada is also pleased. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for your dedicated service. The time that you would have given to this, it would have been quite something. I heard all kind of song was making over the last couple of days. And of course, executing their services for Janamastami and Vyasa Puja. So while we are getting ready for Prasadam, of course, all the servers and everyone were here. So give them a few minutes. We will have a little kirtan by time they are starting to get themselves set. So we can all enjoy a wonderful evening, few minutes kirtan. And then gradually, family by family, you can start to go down to the Bhojan Stali, the Bhojan Hall, and you will receive Srila Prabhupada's blessing in the form of Mahaprasadam. And of course, we see you back here tomorrow morning at 10 sharp, beginning with Srila Prabhupada via Guru Puja, Tulsi Artik, Kirtan Maharaj presentation once again. And of course, we'll be reading a few Vyasa Puja offering from Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja book, Artik, Prasadam, and then we all will be getting ready to go to our Krayan Shri Shri Gauranitai Ashirvad Mandir. Thank you all very much. We want to take this opportunity. In the meantime, the Kirtanyas are getting ready to thank each and every one of you who would have made contributions in so many different ways for the 4 days festivity, Janamastami, Vyasa Puja this evening, and also tomorrow. Persons would have given contribution in terms of monetary contribution, vegetable, fruits, flowers, groceries, services, so many different areas. Person contributed cameras, sound systems, and so many different areas, transportation. Put your hands together for all those wonderful individuals that would have contributed towards this year 2023 Janamastami Vyasa Puja celebration. So kirtan, and then gradually you can start to go. Allow those who have to go for maybe like Mahaika area first, or Borbis and West Coast. And then those of you who are living close by can go for Prasadam a little later down. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everybody loudly together, please raise your hands and chant. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Everybody please chant loudly. Please clap also. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody please raise your hands and chant loudly together. Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Namaste Narasingaya.
Namaste Narasingaya.
Namaste Narasingaya. Praladalada Dayene. Praladalada Dayene. Hiranya Kashipur Vakshaha. Hiranya Kashipur Vakshaha. Silatankana Kalayne. Silatankana Kalayne. Itona Singha Paratona Singha. Itona Singha Paratona Singha. Yato yato yamityato nashringa. Yato yamityato nashringa. Yato yato yamityato nashringa. Yato yamityato nashringa. Vae nashringa hridaye nashringa. Nashringa hridaye nashringa. Vae nashringa hridaye nashringa. Narasingamadim Saranam Prapade. Narasingamadim Saranam Prapade. Tava Kara Kamala Varena Kamat Bhuta Shringa. Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tanubringa. Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tava Kaira Kamala Varena Kamathuta Shringa. Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tanubringa. Avatara Kamala Varena Kamathuta Shringa. Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. 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 Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Oh Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Prahlad Narasimha. Jaya Prahlad Narasimha. Prahlad Narasimha. Jaya 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 Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Narasimha. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha.
जय लक्ष्मी
जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल गौर हरि श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह भगवान की, श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह की, श्री प्रणिताय गौरचंद्र भगवान की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, ताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।